WGS Entertainment presents Saturday, November 18th at Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The Wiseguyz first ever variety show starring Louis Prima Jr. and the Witnesses.
The way you move and makes me holler. The way you jump, the way you swing. Come on and dance with me.
Legendary comedian Bob Nelson.
If you wanna go, let's go. Wanna go, let's go, let's go. Come on and dance.
World-renowned magician Rocco Solano.
I said if you wanna fly, let's fly.
With special appearances by Italian singing sensation Biagio. And legendary Jersey Shore DJ Joe D. All hosted by The Wiseguyz Show. Tickets are going fast and are sure to sell out, so scan the QR code on your screen or visit WGStickets.com.
Hey, Mr. Santa, how's it looking? That 32 waistline, you better get cooking. We need a big Santa. It's almost Christmas time. First up, we gotta get to Chicago. The secret to the pizza there is in the dough. Italian beef with giardiniera, hot and sweet. Papa sausage down on Maxwell Street. Windy City popcorn, caramel and cheese. Add a couple notches to his belt with these. We gotta get some gumbo in N.O.L.A. Santa needs a butter crawfish etouffee. Andouille and jambalaya, Santa don't stop. A fried oyster pomo and a nice lasagna. Fill him up with beignets and a box of pralines. We'll get his red breeches busting at the seams. Hey, Mr. Santa, how's it looking? That 42 waistline, you better get cooking. We need a big Santa. It's almost Christmas time. Never thought I'd see a skinny old Saint Nick. It's mid-December, Santa better bulk up quick. Heat up every donut shop, 100 dozen. That's enough to keep the big man running. I said, hey, Mr. Santa, how's it looking? That 52 waistline, you better get cooking. We need a big Santa. It's almost Christmas time.
All right, welcome back to the Wiseguyz Show.
Here we go.
You just saw the Louis Prima video of the holidays, the Christmas, Santa Claus, and all. Listen, before we get started, this is the Wiseguyz Show countdown to the Wiseguyz Variety Show in Resorts Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. You saw Christmas, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be kicking off the Christmas, let me tell you, if you didn't get your tickets, you better get them now. Also today, one more round, the long-awaited and three-part documentary series on the story of Newark native and pro boxer Guy Casal. You'll be doing a Zoom with him, and that's going to be in the future. But right now, hey, listen, we got some celebrities. Before we introduce them, let me introduce Jumper Gennaro in the house.
So.
And these two guys across from me, you've seen him in The Sopranos, actor and the godfather of the Wiseguyz, Artie Pasquale's in the house.
Thank you.
So.
And
Pleasure
sitting next
being
to him, we got John Bianco. Hey, well, two people
Johnny
clapped
B.
on that one. He didn't clap on
I
that.
did. What are you talking
For
about?
him, I don't know. I mean,
Hold on a second.
you better cut that. That's it.
All right, Johnny boy.
And then we got another
You're my
special
man.
guest coming on at the halfway part of this show. But right now we got the Sopranos in the house. All right. One more time. Hey, you guys are great.
Sopranos in the
Thank you guys for coming out.
Absolutely.
And this is our special. We haven't been doing podcasts as much lately, but we try to do it now when it means something. Now it means something. Next week at Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City, the Wiseguyz first ever variety show with Rocco Solano, Italian singing sensation Biagio,
Bob Nelson,
legendary comedian, Rodney Dangerfield product, and Louis Prima Jr. and the Witnesses.
Yeah,
All right.
Opening, closing the night is Joey D.
And
Don't
Joey
forget.
D, that's right. Our
This is
DJ
brother-in-law.
will be opening up for as the doors open. We're going to be playing music. We're going to have fun that night. And
Sounds like a lot of fun.
I got an announcement to make. I didn't make it yet. The first poster will go up in a little while. It is the after. I don't want to call it an after party. It's an after show celebration at Bar One. And here it is. Here's the poster at Bar One with the special guest host from Celebrity Boxing, Damon Feldman, CEO
All
of
right.
Celebrity Boxing. So we're gonna have a great night that night.
There's going to be a lot of special guests, surprises
Yes.
showing up that night, and the only way you're going to find out who's coming
You got
is
to
if
be
you're
there.
You
That's
gotta
right.
be there.
That's right. And
You got to be there.
look, we were there yesterday, and they were putting up the Christmas decoration. This is the best way to kick off the holiday season, and you're gonna miss it. It's up to you. If you
I'm
want to
not-
come, you don't come. But I'm telling you, you're gonna miss it.
Listen,
It's
this
up
is a
to-
fact, and you heard it from Jumpin' Gennaro. This is going to be the biggest thing that hit, okay, the Atlantic City boardwalk. We know that there's the Borgata and the other. This is that what hit the boardwalk and hit resorts. And I can tell you, yesterday was a confirmation when we walked through the dressing room and you're walking through the halls and you see all the pictures on the walls and you see all the legends that were there. This is our time.
Yeah.
This is our time, and this is your time too, because you've been part of the journey with us, and we'd love to have you there, and you're going to understand what chemistry is going to happen in
If
that
you go
night.
to bed early, don't come out. If you want to have fun and a full energy show and after
You're
party,
going to a show, you're sitting in the show, and then you're like waiting for the moment to happen. Then you go on this roller coaster ride, and then it kind of goes flat. This is beginning to end, non-stop energy.
Yeah, and for
Okay?
for tickets, go to wgstickets.com. We're sold out our VIP tickets online, and I think the only way to get them now is through resorts. As far as if you get comp at resorts, I think they have a few tickets left. But we're gonna have a great time, and that's that. So this is the show to promote it. Hope you're there. If not, you lose. But tonight we got the Sopranos in the house. Artie Pasquale, first of all, how was your Columbus Day? How was your Halloween? It was a big month.
I'm not a big fan of Halloween.
No?
No. I don't want to go into that. But I'm a proud Italian. And
I saw you at the Columbus Day Parade.
I was there. I told you I was going to come. I saw you coming down with the float. You had the loudest float of all of them on the street. It was great. It was nice, beautiful weather. It
I
was
tried to get you
wonderful.
on the floor. You didn't want to come up.
No.
Why not? We had room.
No, the flow was big enough, but heavy enough with a lot of people. But it was great. It was great. It was a fun day, a beautiful day, and I was determined to make it, and we made it.
How about you, Johnny? What'd you do with Columbus Day?
We just did a little something, me and my girl, Evelyn, because we're both Italians, so we celebrated privately.
Yeah.
you know.
Do you celebrate the month? Do you do things like for the month, or is it? Listen, I say Italians celebrate Italian heritage every month, every day, every week. You know.
Right.
You celebrated in the summer.
That's right.
You were in Italy. What's better than that?
I mean, it was just, I can't say enough about that.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to going back there again, that's for sure. The Amalfi Coast was just amazing.
Oh
So,
yeah. I mean,
Once
I'm
you-
going. I'm definitely going this coming year.
Once you get a
so-
taste of that. Actually, last year around this time, the end of November into December, we were in Sorrento, up and down the Amalfi Coast.
Torna
as well.
sorriendo,
I mean, it was just
vamos.
There you go.
If you want
Sorrento was just, amazing. We saw the Christmas lights, and it was just,
Yeah.
to be there during Christmas was great.
Let me tell you, Italians know how to celebrate everything. I mean, we celebrate saints. We celebrate anything. I mean, really, if you think about it, there's a festival of wine. There's a festival of
Yeah,
tomatoes.
but you didn't like the food
We
and
went-
wine there.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I can't say enough about the food, everything. And then we were there this summer also. Again, Amalfi Coast.
Very
it's just-
romantic, right, Johnny?
What's your favorite part of Italy?
So actually, I have yet to to get to Sicily.
Oh,
That is
okay.
definitely
We just
planned
came
next
back from
because
Sicily.
my mother's from Sicily.
Oh, okay.
And my father's from Bari. But I do love Sorrento the best out of all.
Yeah, Sorrento's very nice.
Florence was my favorite until I, went to Sorrento.
How are the people in Sorrento with you?
Oh, it's just amazing.
beautiful.
It's really incredible.
The limoncello, you had the
You want
limoncello.
to know something? Yeah, the limoncello. I mean, we did some tours. We also, in Tuscany, we went to the wine, the wine places and all of that stuff, wine tasting and.
Now, the next time you go in the north, you got to go hunting for i trufoli.
Well, I
heard.
went to the White Truffle Festival
That's what I heard.
in Alba. In Alba, it's about a little south of Milan. Just white truffles. It's every weekend during the summer and fall, primarily the fall. They have a great festival, the White Truffle Festival. I had truffles coming out of my ears.
Yeah.
But the thing about Italy, like John was saying, it's a place where you have to go back to. Like some countries, you
yeah.
go to see one.
No.
Maybe if you went to France, you go to Paris. I mean, I guess
Right.
there's other places, but Italy is like different sections and
Yeah.
known for different things, and it's hard just to go to one place.
So I
Oh, yeah.
I experienced Sicily because of my wife's side of the family.
I went to
and
Sicily. Just a quick story before I didn't mean
Sure.
to interrupt. We went to Sicily, so my favorite dish, Italian dish, is a very simple aglio olio, garlic and oil.
Yeah.
So I go there, and I said I'd like my sardines, I'd like my anchovies on the side. I said we don't have any anchovies. I said, what do you mean? It's just the anchovy capital of the world. They're out of season. I said, what do you mean out of season? So we go up to Venice. I ordered the same thing in Venice. Guy says no anchovies. I never knew that anchovies had a seasonal.
Wow.
But anyway,
you didn't go to the right place.
Didn't
in
they open
Sicily.
up a can of anchovies and just throw it in there?
yeah, I guess so.
You should have went to Palermo. Actually,
I did. I was in Palermo.
you were in Palermo.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
My
don't know.
favorite place is Cefalù.
Did you tell them you were Napolitan?
Oh, I didn't know. I don't
That
want
was
to
the
tell them.
problem.
But anyway, so when you go to Sicily, everybody's going to tell you Taormina is like the Hollywood there.
Right.
Palermo, okay, if you went to Palermo, you had to go visit the fish market because it's one of the most incredible scenes. If you love seafood, probably in the world. Okay, and then you have my wife's family's from Patti, which is where the Vulcano is. It's actually an extinct volcano, and you got the springs, you got the sulfite, the sulfur in the ocean coming out. You take el draghetto from Patti to there. That's an amazing thing. You get the bagni di fango, and you put it all, the clay all over your body and your face. It's an experience.
Yeah, definitely. That's next on the trip
Palermo
is
was
Sicily. Definitely Sicily.
Palermo was a busy city. I'm telling you, you couldn't go across the street between the Vespers and the. I mean, they're
Oh,
moving
yeah.
and moving.
They've always been that way. I mean, I was my one experience. I always, when I went to Italy, I always went to my paese, and it was a small, third world type of little village in the mountains of southern Italy in Campania. And my trips were like to Rome, or I went to it. But my uncle lived in Avellino, the capital of it's the capital of. Actually, Avellino is the capital, and he had like a condo or type of thing. They call it like an apartment. But I'm sitting on the balcony, and that's all you saw were like motorcycles, cars,
Right,
the
right.
Vespas, and I'm like watching, and I see this one big ass dirt bike, and it's a girl. Petite girl with like a dress on, and I'm like, what the? And I just, because you don't see that, you didn't see that in America, especially maybe now you do, but I'm talking at the time to see that, and it looked like she had heels on and everything, just went flying by, and I was just like, what the, and it's just, you just saw them, they're so into their motorbikes, and it's amazing. I was told, for most people who don't understand, because we're used to seeing cars, out there, the cars out there are aware of the motorbikes and all that stuff. Out here, they're not. So it's more. That's why it's more dangerous to drive it here than there, because cars coming around the turn, they're like already thinking there might be a bike coming around.
Yeah.
You don't think that when you're here much.
Right.
You might think a car's coming, but never a
But
bike.
witnessing that when we were in Capri, we were in Anacapri, and coming down that mountain was like, there's buses coming this way.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
wait a second, this is a two-way? There's barely enough.
Even the Amalfi
point.
Coast.
The
The
so
Amalfi
just coming
Coast.
down the whole thing. Yeah, that's it.
You
We
go
were
around the
coming-
corner, and you see that guy's not going to be able to get by.
I'm like, this is
But
crazy.
they know. I mean, they know they can get by
Wow.
an
Talking
inch.
about Sicily, Okay, little 128 sedan Fiat coming without rails, without
Yeah,
guardrails,
yeah,
going around like
Yeah,
to the
no,
edge.
That's
and you're
scary.
like-
Right.
and then on the motorcycles, like nothing.
Well, and then being on the bus, like, we also, when we were in Tuscany, thank you. When we were in Tuscany, we got to see, what's his name, sing.
Andrea
Oh,
Bocelli.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, we were there. We went to like this big open field. We went on a bus, and it was like, oh my
That's
God, it was like
incredible.
I don't know how many thousands of people,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that was so we're seeing Bocelli sing.
Wait,
and I'm
this
in
is
Italy.
you did a tour? You went part of a tour?
No. We would just, we stayed in Tuscany for like 8 days, and during that time, he was giving a concert. So we were able to get tickets, and
Wow.
we were like,
Wow.
we have to go. So
Right.
I mean, what kind? I'm in Italy, and I'm watching
Wow.
Bocelli sing.
In the middle of the most beautiful
Right,
landscape.
it's just you
Did you
can't.
go to Cortona?
I don't think we went.
That's
to
where the
Cortona.
movie Under the Tuscan Sun.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
a great
made.
film.
That's right.
Yeah, that's nice.
So what do you guys got going on right now? Like anything? Are you working on anything?
Well, I'm working on trying to make a good gravy. If I,
Oh, that's all right. So John, what about you?
well, with the strike, there isn't much going on, but there's some
Right.
little bits and pieces. Of
Oh, it's
different,
affecting you that much? Really? Still?
Yeah, but we're doing some like I guess they call it true proof of concept or whatever terminology they want to use. You can do like trailers and short films and things. John can probably explain it better.
I mean, yeah,
but there's not a lot going on right now.
Wow.
So a lot more with like the independent. If you're not backed, as long as you're not backed by a studio, then you're okay.
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much,
All right.
So.
Well, now's a good time, I guess, for independent films to come
Well,
out
I mean,
and hit
that's,
it hard.
we do work on a lot of independent films anyway. I mean, obviously we're missing out on, being on like, Law and Order.
Right.
2 years ago, I did Organized Crime
Yeah,
with Dylan
yeah.
McDermott. That's, I love TV, like shows like that, not only because the money is amazing, but then, you're working with, it's just.
It must be a lot of fun,
Very talented.
especially on the set when you see guys.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. It's great. But yeah, so actually we just a friend of mine, Danny Provenzano, about
Danny boy.
Danny boy.
Danny, yeah.
About 2 months ago, about 2 months ago. Time's moving so fast, right? He says I got a hold of some script called Run.
Okay.
Bunch of guys in
Yeah.
London, England, and I said send it to me. He goes, give it a read over. I read a lot of scripts, and there's so much trash out there. It's just unbelievable. Artie will attest to that. So I read this, and I was like, I just couldn't wait to turn the next page. So that doesn't usually happen too often. So it just reminded me of like a Guy Ritchie type of film. And I called Danny, and I said, Danny, this is really written well. It's about a couple of English hoodlums who rip off some diamonds in England, and then they come to America to escape the mob guys in England, and they're trying to fence the stones in the United States.
This is Danny's directing it, right?
Danny's directing
Danny's
it.
a good director. I mean, he did
Yeah.
this thing of ours. That was a great movie.
Yeah. So he's directing it. So what we did was he says, do me a favor and just write in an email back to those guys because they love all the Soprano guys, So write in an email back that you really like the script because it would just really make them feel, great. So then the next thing is they raised a little bit of money so we could shoot 6 scenes, and I cut the trailer. I'm like one of the main guys in the film. Artie's also in it. We got Artie in there. Vinny Pastore, Robert Finaro.
Oh,
So just to name a few, a friend of mine, Paul Sampson, also who's done a lot of films, and I literally just finished cutting the trailer, and I sent it to a few people, and they just love it. So I think that we'll be able to raise. I'm not sure exactly how much money they're going after to do the feature, but I think based on the trailer, it's that good that I think they'll be able to raise
nice.
money. And
Awesome.
looking forward to
looking
it.
forward
Hey,
to
share
doing
the
that.
stuff over to us.
Yeah.
We always promote anything.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And, but that's good stuff. But before we get into the interview with Guy Casal and the director of the documentary, Nick Furris, I do want to make a few announcements just real quick and a couple mentions. Saturday, November 11th, Hot Night Events. their 10th anniversary celebration. Doors open at 8 p.m. This is this week coming up. We were invited to see if we want to give away a few tickets. This is hosted by Mary DeBellis and Joey. Joey at 466 Caters, West Orange. You know where that is, Artie. The old gatehouse.
Oh, yeah.
You know where that is. The old gatehouse. Yeah. Also, Joe Rubo is back on the air. You remember Joe Rubo from the last American version?
Yeah.
Joe Rubo is back. And, I'm putting them all up so everybody can see. Hollywood Engaged, it's called. It's a new podcast on the air, but he's also on 95.3 FM. This is all in Florida, 95.9 FM.
Joey
Rubo, our guy, our wise guy in Florida. He's got a new show. Check him out. And for this show that we're doing in Atlantic City, we do have a bus trip to Atlantic City. It's for our variety show on November 18th. Contact the Wiseguyz Show on their Facebook group page if you're interested in the bus ride. It is leaving from New Jersey.
It is $40 per person. It'll get you
or
there.
Or $35 per person, depending on how many people you get.
That's it. We got a full
if
boat.
we get a full, I think we're going to get a full bus.
So there and back.
Yep.
You know, after the show, a couple hours, you'll be back. You don't have to worry about driving.
And also, announcement, I know he hasn't mentioned, Nick Petito and Billy Pompeo of Annabella Mozzarella, they're getting together. They're going to be doing a Paisan Con in Fairfield, New Jersey. I believe it's not all ironed out yet, but it's very close to coming through. And look into that. It's going to happen. The Wiseguyz will be promoting it as we go. And then, obviously, our official DJ Joe D at the American Hotel on a Halloween
that was an
party.
Awesome night.
Great night.
Great costumes.
Freehold. Tony Farrell came out to hang out with us. Tony hooked up all over the place.
Tony was killing it that night. Yeah. See what happens when you hang out with us.
Yeah, and I do want to thank, also we went to Long Island for the Firefighters Charitable Foundation Awards Dinner. What a great night that was. All like legends of baseball, sports. You had
October
Art
was
Shamsky.
out of control.
Remember Art Shamsky? Art Shamsky was in the house. Iran Barkley. Just
do you guys ever stay home?
No, it's not.
Listen, October is a nutty month.
I want to do
Every
a special
night.
thank you though to the Italian Tribune, one of the, if not the biggest Italian American newspaper in the world.
We're in it.
Yeah, we're in it. We're in it twice. This
We're in it
second
twice.
time. I want to thank Buddy, Marion, and Joan Alagna for putting our ads in there, helping us promote this show. It's going to be great, and we're looking forward for them to come.
One of the things on Columbus Day that we forgot to mention, I met at 9 o'clock in the morning Perata, the lady who was the Columbus Day.
I mean, not the chair. I know you're trying to say the person, queen of the parade,
The
or something
queen of
like
the
that.
parade,
I don't think it was queen, but that's
not the queen.
what do they call it?
Queen. What do you
The
call it?
one who's appointed for the parade.
Yeah,
The appointed person.
The appointed person.
The appointed one.
Well, at the Italian Tribune dinner, I did get to meet on Columbus Day at their dinner was Fabrizio Di Michele. You know who he is? Fabrizio Di Michele is the Consul General of Italy of New York.
Oh, you know him.
Yes.
Fab, we used to call him. Remember?
No, you know he's full of
Come
crap.
on.
He's full of it. He's full of it. We did do Ariana's Angels. You missed that this year, Artie. You missed a good one,
he's
another good
slipping.
one. This was out of this
supposed to
Where
world.
was I? I don't know. Where have I been?
The
he's
Wise
slipping.
Guys donated 9 baskets plus tickets to the show plus it was a great time. Our buddies Vinny and Gary all
Incredible.
from Ariana's Angels. They'll be at our show November 18th. They are one of the sponsors.
1,000 people came again at the Venetian.
And then we went to the United Civil Servants dinner.
Me.
They were doing it in memory of the 2 firefighters we lost in Newark, 2 of my brother firefighters from Newark who died in that terrible boat fire that they had a few months ago. It was a very deep night, very heartfelt, hard to talk when you think about this, when their pictures are up and you have to say a few words. It was tough for me, and I know definitely tough for Danny Farrell, who is the president of the United Civil Servants dinner. And I just did one more shout out to Biagio, who's not here tonight, who opened up for Gigi D'Alessio in Bally's a couple weeks ago.
He's good.
Knocked it out. Gigi
Biagio.
D'Alessio was great. I mean, I really enjoyed his music. And you ever hear the song "A vida mia, sto core, che sto core,
Si stato prima amore."
So Gigi D'Alessio, if you ever heard that song, which you probably did, they use it for a high tempo. Gigi D'Alessio made it clear that it shouldn't never have been brought up that way, because if you know the words to the song, it's about a soldier coming back from the war looking for his love, who he had lost and went to war, and he don't know, and it was more like a slower, it should have been a slower song, but people took it and made it a high tempo song. But that I learned that night, and I was like, you know what, it made sense, So, are we ready?
Are we ready?
Are we ready for the Zoom with Guy Match? With Guy Match. And look, I know all these guys all of a sudden. Guy Matching, Guy.
We can't go into it without doing not so. We haven't done a not so yet. Uno, due, tre, hot so.
All right, we're going to go to a Zoom with Guy Casal and Nick Ferris, the director of One More Round. It's going to be coming out on November 24th. I'll put the link up where you could go find it. Here we are right now with Guy Casal and Nick Ferris. All right, we're here with Guy Casal and director Nick Ferris, also a.k.a. Kyle Summerall, if anybody wants to know. But anyhow, look, Nick's using someone's computer, but Nick Ferris is the director of the upcoming documentary, 3-part series documentary on the story of Guy the Rock Casal. And we got Guy over here. Guy, let's just start off. I really wanted to start this whole thing off with how did it even begin for you to even put this whole thing together? Because it's been many years now.
Oh, my God, Freddie. Let me tell you, Nick happened to see me on Facebook because I was beginning to write a story about my escapades in boxing. Nick gave me a call. He said, I don't know if you're going to remember who I am. I'm Nick Ferris. I said, Nicky, of course I do. Are you kidding me? We used to work in Creations together back in the day.
Oh, Creations.
And he said to me, you know what? He says, I do documentaries and I'm really interested in your story. I says, wow, are you kidding me? He says, no, I'm not. And I looked up Nicky's credentials and I was flabbergasted. I really was. And him and I, we got together. And I'm going to defer to Nick because he could run with the ball after this.
Yeah, Nick, fill us in.
Well, I mean, it was just something. It was just something that when Rock told me his story, I mean, I knew Guy. I was a young kid at Creation. I was a bar boy and a young bartender. He always he was the nicest guy in the world. He always used to protect us. We were young kids. And we looked up to him because we knew he was a professional boxer. He had done he had a wonderful career out of Newark. Everybody knew who he was. But I didn't know his story, guys. I really didn't know. I knew he was a boxer, but I didn't know the story behind The Rock. Growing up in Newark, the adversities he faced, the betrayals that came from the most unexpected sources, that when he told me, and I knew it was painful for him to tell me some of these things, I said, Rock, this is a story that people want to hear about, because at the end of the day, it's about finding your one more round in life. What is your purpose? What is your peace? What is it in life that will inspire you? And I think Guy has found that. And I would be so bold as to say that I think it took a long time for him to get to that one more round, to get to that inner peace. So it's a story about a boxer. It's a story about Newark. It's a story about family. It's a story about an Italian family that was very close. It's a story about Wiseguyz in Jersey and in New York. It's a story about perseverance, law enforcement. And most of all, it's about integrity. Guy Casal is, if I had to wrap him up in one word, integrity. He has great integrity.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, I remember Guy getting ready, throwing the hood on, jogging down the street, getting ready for his fights. As a kid, I told Guy I vaguely remember that. It's just funny how, really, if you went counting the houses, probably like 6-7 houses from my house to his house. But he went down the corner though, and always, because grew up in Newark, and especially being a Newark fireman, I to follow a guy from Newark. To me, Guy's a legend from Newark because I know
Thanks, Freddie.
I know a lot of stories about Guy. It's best I just keep it between us, hey, I'll let everybody finish talking, but I want to ask you one question, Guy, and then the guys can take it from here. If you and Marvin Frazier were to have a street fight, who would have won that fight?
I really don't want to kick his ass.
I know you would. That's all I wanted to ask you. I'll ask you more, but if Mike and Charlie and Joe want to go ahead, guys.
Well, I do have something. So you mentioned key points about Newark, about fighting in the streets, growing up, fighting in the streets of Newark back in the day. So my world in Newark was growing up in my family business. And we had it on 6th Street, and it was right next to a legendary place called the Roxy's. So if you're on the north side, you probably some way somehow connected with that back in the day. I know a lot of rough dudes that came out of the Roxy's on the north side. But more importantly, you represent. We right now, everybody in the Wiseguyz show crew. I don't know if you know this, has a link to Newark. We are now taking this to another level. And so we're proud to have somebody represent us, and we definitely want to hear the story. So I think it's a perfect time because you always hear great boxers that come out of different places of the country, and Newark, as we know, had the first Italian immigrants that came from Italy, and so that's a story that has to be told. But we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up originally on North 8th Street between Davenport Avenue and Berkeley Avenue. Okay. Yeah. My father lived on Davenport Avenue and North 8th Street his whole life until he met my mother.
So if you remember the shop on 6th Street with all the Italian cars, that was my father.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, that was Colgan Motors. That's where I grew up in the trade with cars with my dad. So,
and that's funny you say that because my aunt Ida, my father's oldest sister, and my uncle Tony lived adjacent to that on North 6th Street, right by Berkeley Avenue.
Oh yeah, you're kidding me! Wow. Yeah.
And as a kid, we were always at my aunt's house. My father down in meatballs like they were going out of style on a Sunday morning.
Charlie, you got anything, Chuck?
Yeah, I do actually. I have a couple of things to say. I'm from the Ironbound section in Newark. I grew up down next, so it's I know a lot of legendary stories about the North Ward. But I'd like to know where your family came from in Italy.
On my father's side, my grandfather came from Scafati, Italy. My grandmother came from Baronese. We had a family tree done, and we had a family reunion. Oh, wow. About 12 years ago. And there was over 300 people there at the family reunion because the family was so big. In fact, my father, including him, there were 9 siblings. And my grandmother, her family lived, again, as I said, they were from Baronese. So I guess, that was right outside the Naples area.
Okay, yeah. I spent a lot of time in creations as a kid.
So did you really?
Yeah. I'm actually friendly with remember Mike Ramo, the owner.
You got to ask Mickey about Mike Ramo.
Yeah. I'm dear friends with Evelyn Lasatello.
Evelyn Lasatello.
Yeah, we sit and have coffee almost 3 days a week together. Yeah. She's a lovely lady.
Small world. Listen, even where he grew up. That's the corner I hung out with most of my teenage years.
That's crazy.
Right on the corner of the Paramount Bakery. Is that where you got your bread too?
That's crazy.
My grandfather used to be part owners in Paramount Bakery during the early 50s.
Now it's owned by Israelis, believe it or not.
Wow.
And Nikki, I'm a huge documentary fan. I've actually helped with a couple in Italy, but I love the format, so I'm excited to see guys film. I really am.
What's wonderful about doing a documentary is when you call some people and you say, this is what we're doing. And without reservation, almost immediately, they say yes. And if you'll allow me, let me just tell you some of the people that without reservation said yes, and were hospitable. Teddy Atlas.
Wow.
One phone call to Teddy, he was like, "Here's my address. Come." And not only did he give us 2.5 hour interview, then we sat and we had lunch and we talked boxing, we talked life. And not only is he a great trainer of, I believe, 22 world champions, his philosophy of life is unbelievable. In fact, he opens the documentary.
Beautiful.
Bobby Ches.
Wow. Jersey.
Absolutely. Just did a fight with Bobby the other day. He's back in boxing. Chuck Wepner.
Wow.
Surf Club.
Yep. Surf Club. That's right. Surf Club. I don't know if you guys remember Lou Essa.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We're friends with Lou. Yeah.
Yeah. Lou
Louie
Essa.
and Bobby are big fans of the show.
Absolutely.
Lou supposedly coming to our show. Karen, his wife Karen, on.
Oh yes.
good.
Food on them.
Good. Tommy Marola.
Yeah, Tommy, another Newark
Wow.
legend.
Another Newark guy. But you know what it is that really, those guys came and they speak from a boxing point of view, a neighborhood point of view, but the family and friends. I mean, the most incredible storyteller in this documentary, other than Guy, is his brother Paulie. Oh my God, the stories that Paulie can tell and how he tells them. His friends, the respect they have for him. The Essex County Prosecutor's Office, Friends for Life for Guy. These guys speak about him with such honor, and because he's such an honorable man, that you can't help but root for Guy in the good and in the bad. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's all about finding your one more round in life and what that means. For some people, they never find it, unfortunately. Others do. You find peace, you find inner peace, you find purpose. But Guy is every person that sees a trailer or any person that sees some of the stuff we post on Facebook, they're moved by what he's saying and what other people are saying about him, which is kind of neat, especially when you're going into something, let's be frank, there's not a whole lot of good stuff out there, right? Entertainment wise.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
But if you can get a 3-part series, 2.5 hours,
Wow.
broken up into 3 parts,
Where can we see it? When can we see it?
well, it premieres November 24th, God willing, November 24th. We just left the office to do this. We just picture locked the last part 3 today.
Nick, real quick, did I make the cut? Because I remember you did a shot with me talking to a guy over a cup of coffee in the cafe over there. I'm hopefully
You're in it.
Oh,
You're in it. You're in it. You were hugging the bar from the back. We got you. We got
I lost 100 pounds since then. So
Yeah,
I'm
right. We got the espresso machine making espresso, and we got the friend behind the bar pushing it out.
nice.
But
Where is it going to be?
we developed and built our own website, so it'll be streaming on our own website. We're going to announce everything on Facebook. So
We're gonna help you. We're gonna help you do it.
Thanks, Fred.
And so
definitely.
And you know that Newark page, that's my page, the Newark Memories page. Guy, we're just waiting to push it out on that. And so
Wow, thanks, Fred.
that's got 50,000 members. So I mean
That's awesome.
I mean, I've posted there. I think I've gotten rejected a few times. So Freddie,
no, who's gonna reject you? I'm the only one that allows. No, you know what it is? Let me tell you about that page. Outsiders are not allowed to post on that page anymore because there were copyright issues, and
Okay.
old Facebook blocked it. So I've been trying to get that feature back, but
Okay.
in groups it's hard. So if you need anything, you just send
I'll
it
let you know.
by text message, and I will post it from
I will do that.
my page. I'm the only one in control of that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting story. You made a joke before that, my name on the screen is Kyle Summerall. Well, you all from Newark, I'm assuming a lot of you might be Giant fans, maybe Jet fans, but you know the name Summerall.
Sure.
You know the last name Summerall, right?
Pat Summerall.
That's Summerall. Sure.
That's his son.
Oh wow.
And
Wow.
Pat Summerall's son wrote this documentary. And
Oh wow.
Wow.
Very
Yeah, that is interesting.
He's a very talented man.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to
So
tell you
was his father. I loved his father.
the
Yeah, it's
sneak. the sneak previews are amazing. I can't wait to see this. But Joe's been pretty quiet down there. Joe, what do you got to say, Joe?
Hey, I'm totally caught off guard. I'm in a restaurant. I parked it down for next week. I'm all screwed up. But anyway, I want to wish Guy the best of luck. He was a great inspiration to all of us.
Thank you, Joe.
And when I started dating your cousin, nobody would touch me anymore. The Meadowbrook. It's at the Meadowbrook. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's been that long already. Time has really by. But Guy, I love you, and I wish you the best. Your crew, and I want to say, you're in my heart always.
Thank you.
All right, so do you have a link that you could send us, because we want to put it up on the screen and then obviously share it when we can, because obviously our show. This is a perfect time because our show is on November 18th at Resorts Casino.
Right.
That's a whole other show. But we thought it was perfect because a week later, your documentary is going to air. So to put these two shows together is big. And, a little thing, just so you know, Guy, on the side, I don't know if they're going to do it in time. But the Italian Tribune was very interested in listening to your story because I'm their photographer. And
the Italian Tribune, Fred.
Yes, they're very.
Let me tell the Italian Tribune. My first 3 fights, I had articles in the Italian Tribune.
Wow.
Well, have the writer contact us. We'd love to be in the.
I'm going to have the owner contact you, but even better is one of the owners remembered who you were, Guy. I forget what she said, but they knew who you were, and they're because you're from Newark, especially. They're very interested in doing maybe something in the future about this whole thing. So keep in mind, I'm working on that also.
Wow, thanks, Fred. In fact, the person you're talking about, they used to come in. I used to be a busboy at Vesuvius, and they used to come in, the whole family, when I was 17 years old, and Ace ran the Italian Tribune.
Well, this is Ace's daughters were I was talking to, and
yes,
buddy,
that's right,
his wife, right.
All we heard was Guy was a very good-looking guy.
He still is.
But he was a really she never saw him now. I'm saying, but she was like, oh, he was very good-looking. A lot of good-looking. A lot of people said how good-looking he was. He was good. So so we're going to work on that, Guy. We're gonna definitely. Buddy told me if there's anything he could do, he'd be glad to help. So we'll
thanks, Fred.
Well,
Thank you.
That means that also tells a lot about that you didn't get hit a lot, because if you got hit a lot, you wouldn't look so good.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. Once in a while, it comes back. I got to straighten myself out.
Well, Vesuvius, that was the heyday in Newark. Vesuvius, Biazzi's, Don's 21.
Of course.
Tom's. You had Tom's too. Remember Tom's?
Tom's. Oh my God!
It was Tom's, Vesuvius, Biazzi's.
Polizzi's. What about Polizzi's? Washington.
Yeah, Gaza Polizzi was in Belleville, though, right?
Yeah, Belleville.
That was Belleville, I think. Yeah.
That was on Washington Avenue. Yeah.
I was a busboy at Casa Polizzi.
That was you.
And listen, I used to wait. I used to love for the 11 o'clock table to come, because that's when the big tips came.
Oh yeah.
So the link we'll be able to put up front. You'll have that for me. Nick?
The link to his Facebook page.
No, the link to see the documentary.
Absolutely. I will send you the link as soon as it's live. Absolutely.
All right. So
I got one more.
I'll put it up on the screen as during this Zoom interview when we're on.
Absolutely.
All right, so here's a question.
Yep.
Here's a question: Is Ken Burns going to be jealous of this one?
Yes.
Well, look, Ken Burns is an amazing documentary filmmaker. There's no doubt about it.
He certainly is.
Okay, there's no doubt about it. So back when Guy was in his heyday, unfortunately, we didn't have these things called, cell phones where everybody could take pictures and videos, etc. So a lot of this we had to we did a lot of reenactments in certain sections in order to make things come to life. But we did a recreation of the TikTok Diner down here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow.
And that whole scene, you'll understand why that's a pivotal piece of what happened at the TikTok. Renting cars, boxing gyms, a guy playing a young Guy Casal, all those things.
You had a pretty serious budget.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, serious budget. I mean, compared to Ken Burns, absolutely not. But if you won't be thinking about the budget, what you will be thinking about is you'll be laughing 1 minute and crying the next. You'll be saying, "Oh my God," 1 minute, saying, get him, Rock," in the next. But the wonderful thing about Rock is he has no apologies for anything that ever happened to him, the good or the bad. He's at peace with himself. I don't know if he was that way 25 years ago. We had lost touch back then. But now I know, and I know a big part of it is his wife, Michelle. He's at total peace with his career, his law enforcement, his family. And by the way, in case you didn't know, he just became a grandfather.
Oh, no.
How old are you?
Oh, that's awesome.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, he just became a grandfather for the first time. So it's a wonderful thing. So this is his Christmas present. We'll put it out November 24th. And I think people, no matter where you live, certainly the people in Jersey will relate. There's no doubt about it. But I don't care where you're from. We have people following us from England, Australia, Africa, Germany, France, Greece, Italy. I mean, it's all over the country because, number one, they love boxing. And then they slowly start to understand that this story is a little more than just boxing. It's more than just boxing. It's about life. And I think if we just did a boxing documentary, there's a lot of those. But if we can do a documentary that has a cathartic ending that uplifts you, I think we've got something special.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when an editor is editing and turns around and he's got tears in his eyes, I think you got something special.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, definitely. And you could see in the sneak previews that you put up, it's very, very interesting. And I know there's a large audience behind it because, I follow a lot of social media, especially like when you do, like I said, the Nork page or even off of your page. I mean, you could see there's interest behind it. And one word, and everybody, like I said, everybody from Nork back then all stuck together. They're all curious about the story. If whether you knew Guy or knew of Guy, you knew there was a Guy Casal who was a professional fighter, and most likely you're going to want to hear that story behind it because there's nothing better than a sports documentary or a life, involving sports documentary. So
we need someone else to talk about besides Frankie Valli and Joe Pesci.
Well, obviously we mentioned Frankie Valli. I mean, Newark is Frankie Valli. We mentioned it. The Shangri-La Club, right?
Yeah.
So we mentioned that.
All right. Well, look, we're running out of time. We're running out of time. And again, I want to wish you all the best of luck. We got your back.
Thank you, Fred.
Keep me informed. Keep us informed about your links or how to watch the documentary. And as you move it forward, any updates on where to watch it, Prime or whatever you decide to put it in.
I wish you could join us on the 18th. Man, that would be
they're
incredible.
in Florida right now. So if you can make it, November 18th at the Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City. The Wiseguyz will be there with Louis Prima Jr. and just Bob Nelson and Rocco Solano and Biagio. So it's going to be a great time. You could be there, great, but we're going to help you as best we can, and I think you're going to do well as either way.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, back to the show, guys. Come on.
See your creations.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. We're running out of minutes. That's why I was going to stop it. But just like I said, keep in contact with me, and then we'll do everything we can to push that.
Thanks again.
We appreciate you very much. We really do.
Yeah. Thank you, Freddie.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Great
Thank
job,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Love you, Rob.
Bye-bye. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Take care, guy.
All right.
We go.
That was a great Zoom interview. Guy Casal was from my neighborhood. I know Guy from he knows me from when I was probably 3 years old. He literally lived around the corner from my house. I knew as growing up, I got to know how tough of a guy he was from the streets. Very tough fighter, street fighter, which got him into boxing. And I believe he had more of a story to tell because I think he went pushed into boxing too fast, and he believes in his heart that he probably would have done so much better and so much more if they left him in, if they waited and put him in at the right time. But I'm sure it's going to be all in the documentary. So here's the link. They sent me the link, and I want you to check it out on November 24th. It's going to be released. It's a 3-part documentary series. Nick Ferris mentioned it was 2 hours and 45 minutes, so it's a 3-part series. Check it out. Let them know the Wiseguyz Show sent you, okay? So thank you, Guy Casal and Nick Ferris, for joining us in the Zoom. And as you can see, John Bianco stepped out and is gone for the evening, and he went to go manja. And we got another legend in the studio from 92 KTU, legendary disc jockey,
Al
Bandero.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Al.
Thank you. Good to be back.
How's everything?
I love your new studio.
Thank you. This
love
is
it.
Andrew Santiago, and here at
I love it.
Ange Media. This is a great studio.
Very nice.
So, what's new with Al Bandero these days?
Well, you know, the actor strike has been on for, as you well know,
they were
for
just talking
a
about
long
it.
time.
Yeah.
The latest, at least, of today, the whole thing has to do with AI. And the studios want to be able to use you even after you're dead. I don't think that's going to fly. But in the meantime, what's good is that my wife and I have a production company, so we were offered a 3-film deal from an investment company.
How goody.
So right now we're in negotiations, and you know how that goes. It could go a little on the slow side, and so the attorney takes care of that, and we just do our thing. My wife keeps writing, and we keep waiting to go back to work.
Now, you did travel in and out. Going back in the day, you did come back and forth into Newark. Do you remember the name Guy Casal?
No.
Because he was like a pro fighter. We did the Zoom with. He was a pro fighter that came out of Newark, and they called him Guy the Rock Casal because he looked like Rocky Marciano. And back then, he was a big thing because they really, to them, they looked at him as the Great White Hope, one of them guys.
Right.
And in the purpose for the documentary, I just felt that it's done right. And you'll see in the trailers or anything they put out, it's really filmed great. And you have guys like Teddy Atlas in it, Bobby Ches, Chuck Wepner.
Chuck Wepner's in it.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of talent that did the interviews and were part of this documentary. But I believe Guy had when you had so much expectations to be a big fighter or something in life, and it didn't go the way you thought because he was such a tough street fighter.
But he made his mark. He was winning bouts.
But I just felt that this had to been done, had to be made special, and that's why I think his heart is in this. And usually, when your heart and the right research is done for a documentary, it's usually a good documentary. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I didn't want to cut you out of that, but just because I did remember you did coming in and out of Newark. And I knew you were friends with Stallone, Frank Stallone more, and you just came and traveled a lot into Newark. I thought, because Guy Casal at them times was a popular name in Newark, so I thought maybe you might have remembered.
No, I don't remember.
But with that being said, though, so did you know Artie Pasquale? Did you ever meet Artie?
We met at a party. I think that you guys had about a year ago.
2 years
I think
now.
it was
Christmas
wow.
dinner.
It's been that long.
That was a Christmas
and we met
dinner.
and we chatted a little bit.
At the Neves, right?
Oh yeah.
We were sitting, I think. Next
Oh,
to
you
each
were
other.
also at
You know what it was? It was that other place.
my wife's 50th
your wife-
birthday.
that's
Yeah,
right,
they
your
were
wife's
dancing.
party.
It was
Yeah.
a Greek restaurant.
Right.
it was
Now
Lebanese.
I remember.
That's
Yes.
right.
Lebanese.
Right.
That's right. Now I remember.
Yeah, the food was great that night.
Fran's
I remember.
50th birthday.
Yeah, they were dancing all night at that place.
Yep.
What's it called? It's a simple name.
So it's a Lebanese restaurant in Wallington,
It's like one simple
right
word.
across the bridge. Yeah, it'll come to
Oh,
me.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It
the
doesn't
food
matter
was
for
good.
me.
We had a good time.
It was
And
nice.
Artie and I chatted a little while.
Yeah.
But I
We
want
were
to.
checking out. We were checking out the belly dance.
I wanted to bring up though. We did. You did go to Lenive's though. You've been at Lenive's for our Christmas.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
That was all redone. And I know we're working on something. I don't care if you. I mean, I don't know if you mind mentioning it.
No, go ahead.
All right.
Go
We're
ahead.
working on something. Hopefully, we'll do it in February. We want to announce it sometime this month. We don't want to go into December. I think we should mention it by at least after our show. How about after our Atlantic City show? But I'm going to just give a little, tease
Sure,
of
go
what
ahead.
it is. Al Bandiero, a night with Al Bandiero, Q&A to discuss a lot of his lifetime stories that you got. Just to give a little taste of what they are, I'm going to let him talk now. But I just want you to know we're doing a dinner Q&A. And just amazing stuff. So, Al, you want to explain more?
You know, the idea when I talked to you, I was approached by someone that said, you must have great stories. And, it's part of your career. You meet these people, you have great stories, and, you move on. And when I sat down with this guy, he said, why don't you do a night where your listeners and the films you've done and the people you've worked with, that stories would only be told in that room? And even with that, I have to stop at a certain degree of what I've seen, of what I've heard, just to be respectful to other people, which is a little odd in today's world because there isn't anything that's like, I'll tell you everything you want to know. And we don't go down that route. That's not the way we were raised. But with all of the people that I have worked with, it just occurred to me, and my wife said, think about the people from music all the way into films and TV that you've worked with. And Michael and I were talking, and then Freddie and I started talking and said, I wonder how that would work if people would want to sit and hear some stories working with Sly,
Absolutely.
coming up. One story is I was doing a TV show, I was hosting a TV show. At the same time, I was working on KTU. And we were in the studio that had a revolving door in and out. So as I'm going out, Madonna's coming in. And she had a cassette with her, for those people that remember cassettes.
Yeah.
And she handed me the cassette because she used to come up to the station and promote her own music in addition to the record company. She was a go-getter. And she said, here's my new album. I just got it today. I said, okay, what's the name of it? And she said, Like a Virgin. So I remember standing and I said, what do you mean like? You are or you're not? What do you mean like? She said, no. Listen to it.
Well, don't tell the whole story.
And
We're
that's
trying to
it.
save it for the. Save it for.
But I'll tell you.
If you want to hear more, listen
Big-
to our
come in.
announcement coming
Stay
out.
tuned.
We're trying to do it at Lenive's. You saw the one room at Lenive's.
Yeah.
And if Yolanda's watching right now, she's probably like, nobody's told me about this yet.
So now.
But no, she has a back room with a good 100 people. I did my wife's surprise party there, and I think it's very up to date. How would you want to call it?
I think it's
high end look to it.
Oh, okay.
Marble
Okay.
this and granite this and,
nice. Very nice.
all lighting,
Sophisticated.
sophisticated room. And I think it's a perfect spot because we could set you up in a perfect area where you can answer questions. And I would say the acoustics in the room will, even with a microphone, would sound great, and you'll get to communicate with any
As
question.
Abonanima that my Zio Salvatore would say, everything is beautiful, everything is nice.
Yeah. I've been offered to write a book, and I won't do it. I mean, the things that I've seen, and whether it was by accident or on
Hey, well,
purpose, or
listen.
the things that people tell you, I won't go down that route. But the stories,
Great
of different
stories.
people
Those are
that
some
I've-
crazy
Inspiring.
times. Because you know what's funny is when I talk to you or I'm listening to you in headphones, when I hear your voice, I remember you on the radio because
Yeah.
I listened to KTU.
Thank you.
And I actually had I have a friend of mine who worked with KTU. His name's Joe Lemire. He's one of our engineers. I don't know if you know Joe, but Joe still does radio and stuff like
He
that.
actually did the voice for our promo video.
Yes, and but it's those times. If you go back into the early 80s, like say 81, 82, 83, 84, and those are some wild times. So a lot of fun and a lot of freedom, more freedom than ever.
Oh yeah, and it was also a time where you kind of knew your boundaries at the same time that you might overstep your boundaries, but apologize for it later because you wanted to get your craft out there, whatever you were doing. And people really worked during that time together. You know, Madonna coming in and handing me an album where she could have gone up to the station to do it, but we just happened to pass each other. You know, stories of just Sly taking me into his home. You know, it's the biggest movie star in the world, and okay, sit down, I'm going to teach you some things. And I think that you either have to be a good student, someone has to recognize that, or they don't give you the time. And I think that still applies to
Well, that was
today.
a period of time that you actually, you were like really in your prime time. And
Yeah.
so when you listened to the music or the material, did you develop an instinct, you know, where you said, this is going to be a hit?
Yeah, I remember getting into the car going home, and I think at that time I still lived in Brooklyn. I was living in Bay Ridge on Shore Road. I remember listening in the car, and as soon as I heard the single "Like a Virgin," you know, it spoke for itself.
And it was so big to hear. I mean, to hear that on TV was just
Right.
like,
Right.
you know. And nowadays, you think, see how times have changed. Just to sing that on the radio back then,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now what people get away with doing now, it's
Right,
crazy. It's just
right.
And I-
crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
In the 50s and the 60s, you would have said, yeah, it was the old payola thing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Where you guys, you want to play it, you got to grease
Yeah,
these guys.
and
Yeah,
some of the guys got caught and some did not.
Yeah.
You know, Alan Freed back in the day, he
Yeah.
got caught. And then there were a lot of people that said, well, those songs you never heard of on American Bandstand, how'd they get there? So we can't point a finger, but if you've been in the business long enough, it's like, what is that? I've never heard that, and yet you never heard it before and you never heard it after. So it was the luck of the draw, and it was the way business was done. Is it right?
Don't you
know.
think that hurt radio a little bit in a way? I mean, if it could have been controlled a little better, because there's a lot of songs that probably could have been hits to this day,
Oh,
but we don't
absolutely.
hear them no more because
Yeah.
that don't happen.
Right.
Could there have been a better way to do it where people can hear their songs? Like say, just Biagio, for instance. He comes up, Biagio's been involved in music for 40 years. He has his own music. But to have him play his own music on the radio is very tough now. Back then, you could grease somebody and get it done. But, I'm saying other performers that probably have all like top hits cannot get their song played anymore like they used to, and there's probably music out there that could be great, but we just don't know it because it's not the same.
Tommy James is a good friend of mine, and he's
Classic stuff.
He wants to do it. He's still performing. He's very good. If you ever
Yeah.
want to believe me, he's very good. And he's got his book was me something in the mob, and he's trying to make a movie of that, and all of this back stuff. Going back to how you couldn't avoid getting involved with that,
Well, back in the day, you had the local program director, so those guys would get greased every once in a while.
Yeah.
But then they took that power away.
Maybe the radio station should have gotten greased, though. No, and it just made it done better that
Yeah,
way, and then maybe
yeah.
gave a percentage to the guy or
Yeah,
something.
but it wasn't just radio. There was a lot of industries that went that way, and as you were
Including
saying-
government. I remember
Yeah.
to open up a store, you had to in the envelope. You remember that old?
And today, it's sort of whatever industry you're in, somebody's got to get greased somewhere. It's is it right? I don't know. But if you don't have the money and you're talented, what happens? Well, you hope that maybe I'll catch a break. But it's always been like that from Sinatra's time. It's always been like that. And people who deny it, they're just,
No, coming on the fire department, I got thrown into the second class. I wanted to get on. I should have been in the first class. I had to get on in second class, and they were stalling so much. And somebody literally came over to me and says, "How bad do you want to get on?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm in the second class." They go, "They may not put on a second class." I'm like, "Well, they were trying to tell me to throw some money in an envelope, whether it's 10, maybe I think it was 10,000. They really snuck through me somehow, like whispering it or whatever they did. And at the time, the 10,000 is worth it if you get on, and they get that job because you get the 10,000 eventually back, But I didn't do it, and I still got on. But just the thought of wanting to get on that bad, you throw that 10,000 in that envelope, and at least you're going to get on.
Yeah. I think the first time that I ever experienced it, I was hosting a syndicated show, in addition to my everyday show. And when you get out there, you want the bigger markets to jump on it. just like TV syndication, you want the bigger markets to get on it. And I remember who this program director, a woman, she's passed away since then. But the very first time, if you're hosting it, you're the one that runs and says, hey, I have a new show coming on. It would fit your format perfectly. And she said these words to me. Oh, okay. What's in it for me? That's exactly what she said. And I answered her, well, you got a really well-produced show, and you have someone that's hosting it that's in the #1 market in the country. This was verbatim, and she answered me again, okay, so what's in it for me? And then the second time when I heard that line, I realized what she was doing. I said, hey, I have nothing to do with that. You need to talk to the syndicator if that's what you want. But that's the way it worked.
Yeah.
And it was sort of, if you're good, you might not get the shot. Or you get lucky.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. But it happens everywhere in life. You know? And maybe that's one of the reasons Madonna walked up to me and gave me that cassette, because I brought it into the station the next day. And the very next day they said to me, well, how'd you get this? I said, well, I was walking in while she was walking out. And just that second, if I was 30 seconds late, I would have never seen her. If I was 30 seconds earlier, she would have still been in the studio. So, sometimes you're somewhere at the precise moment.
I remember them. I remember when that first came out. I remember as a kid, everybody talking about it, and then finally hearing it. Mm-hmm. And to me, it just I was a kid back then. We were street kids and could care less really.
And then, of course, the MTV show when she came out with the wedding gown.
Oh yeah,
and sang that song.
Yeah.
And people thought they were going to lose their mind. And I went, oh my God, that's child's play compared.
I remember
now.
I took my daughter. I guess she was 13 maybe at the time. In Madonna's first tour. So I get the tickets, I get the good seats.
Where the Meadowlands? That's where that's the only one I ever went to. I did go to Madonna. I snuck in though.
So first the Beastie Boys open up. The Beastie Boys.
Really?
And they're saying F this and F that. And I see where I am sitting with my 13. And then Madonna comes out in a negligee and a bra and panties or whatever it was. I said, what did I? This is her first concert.
Wow. I snuck in back then.
Blindfolded.
How did you sneak into a concert?
The first concert that I ever went to was Madonna at Meadowlands, and we knew someone at the ticket took the tickets, and they just let us through without taking any tickets. Now we didn't have assigned seats, so we were on the field level. So we just went wherever we could find somewhere.
Standing room only. Where'd you go?
Just somewhere to stand, and we found the place to stand. Then we moved, and then moved. A lot of people, which helped. A lot of people just ran up to the front. So there was a lot of open chairs, and there wasn't standing. It wasn't standing room. There was actually chairs on the field at the time, but a lot of people rushed the stage and they stayed there the whole time. So you had place to sit or stand, or if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So
well, I think if we do this, it would be a lot of fun. I don't know what the audience would ask me, and I would be as truthful as I could, but just the amount of people that I have been fortunate to have worked with in different levels and different categories. You've seen the promo that I did for our November 18 show. Yeah, it's a 1-minute promo. It didn't take much for me to make. We got to make a promo with you explaining, giving the people what they're going to see that night. Other than they're going to have food too. Yeah, they'll have food too. I just we put a list together, and my wife said, "Why don't you just write down the people that you've worked with, that you did certain things with." And, of course, Sly. How about bringing a special guest? Someone, like maybe somebody who music I broke, who's still around, and I know she would love to do it. We'll leave that name. We have a few connections. Her name is Eileen Shapiro. Mm-hmm. She has a few artists that played music back then. I don't know if you know, like from the B-52s. People we could even help out, maybe trying to bring a special guest in there as well. Yeah, and it'll just add to the fun. And also too, when you work with people, Artie will tell you too, and. What about Frank Stallone? I mean,
I work. Yeah, Sly. You mentioned.
Huh? Yeah. Sly Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone.
No, Frank.
No, Sly is
I'm
Sylvester.
Saying Sly.
Oh, you're just
a little bigger.
Well, you bring it. That's all. Hey.
It's funny because I did.
We'll sell out the moment we
exactly.
I had a great experience. I did a little Tulsa King with him. Mm-hmm. And I had never met him before. Sly. Yeah, Sly.
Right. Yeah, you threw me off. I was saying Frank, you're saying Sly.
Yeah, we don't call him Sylvester. We call him Sly.
You call Frank Sly?
This is an Abbott and Costello bit. No, Sly.
Yes, no, I know.
He's saying if he's going to bring anybody, he's going to bring Sly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't talked to Frank in a long time.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, it was a great experience. He was a good guy, great guy. We hung around, you know. We were out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And
man, what was that like? Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, originally I was supposed to be. There was supposed to be the Kansas City King, and then because of tax purposes, they put it in Oklahoma.
Right.
Tulsa. I mean, there wasn't much to do there, you know, in Tulsa. But they have this studio there. I think it's called. I forget what it's called, but anyway, it's where the Tulsa professional basketball team used to play. They got a new place, and they use the other one. It's almost like having Madison Square Garden emptied out. And they've recreated all kinds of studios inside. They just shot everything inside. They had biggest studio I've ever been in. But hanging around, he was great guy. You know, people ask me.
Yeah, in all honesty, someone of that level, they don't really give you a lot of time, and is what most people think. And the fact is just the opposite.
Yeah.
That huge people will give you that time. It's the people that I've run across. I don't know, maybe Artie has too. They're sort of in the middle. They're not small, but they're certainly not big.
Yeah, right.
But in their mind, they think they're
there's
big.
a ton of those. Oh, my
yeah.
God.
And it depends on how you approach the person,
Exactly.
too. You know,
Yeah.
Like I do. We did meet a lot of celebrities in the past, and a lot of bigger. Like I'll give you one example: Ernest Borgnine. It didn't get any bigger than him, And when I met him, he gave me the day I met him, he gave me his phone number in Beverly Hills to call him up. He would do the interview and like nothing. Like we were hanging out, talking Italian and everything. Then you meet somebody who maybe had like three parts in a and they think that they're like this high level thing, like, and they want $75 for an autograph. I'm like, what are you kidding?
People ask me about Gandolfini.
I know exactly what you're coming from.
and
Gandolfini was like that. I remember coming out of here. We're going to do a scene. I come walking out of getting my hair done. Everybody. You respected everybody's privacy when they were doing their lines to themselves. He was sitting on the bench, and I'm walking by, and he says, "Hey, where you going?" I said, "Well, you're busy. I didn't want to bother. Come over here, sit down. It's Gandolfini now. How's the kids? I know I have a grandfather. How's the grandkids doing? This and that." But it was just a wonderful experience. Just like that. There are only a lot of people aren't like that, as you say, but that's how you say Stallone is.
Yeah, he is. He certainly didn't have to give me any time, and he gave me years of time. And what you learn, and the most important thing is that you learn this for free. You can go to acting school for years and not learn what they teach you within one long night of certain things.
He was the ring announcer.
That's happened
in Rocky IV.
Rocky IV.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
He got me my SAG card.
Oh, really?
That was again. He didn't have to do that, and he put me in there. But other big people too. I had a syndicated show that
This
Lionel
is
Richie.
pre Michael Buffett, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I remember watching.
I was the ring commentator, so I called the fight.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I wasn't the ring
Let me
announcer.
tell you
I was the
something.
Commentator.
I go back
Well,
to.
that's great.
I have a good
Yeah.
memory of a lot of things, especially you, because
That'd be fun.
you were like believe it or not a role model for a lot of kids in my neighborhood.
Thank
because you believe it, not only because you're on the radio. When I specifically remember seeing Rocky IV in the theater, and when you came in on the scene, we all was like, "That's Al Bandiero,"
Wow.
because I remember that. And
Wow.
I'm being honest with you. I'm not trying to make nothing up here. I remember
great.
that time, and because we always heard you on the radio.
Yeah.
To see you on the
To
screen,
see it,
was
yeah.
big to
Yeah,
us. I remember that. I was in my early years, or maybe teens. I mean,
Well,
maybe
the memory that I have is so many, but when the night it came out in New York was the New York premiere. I think it was on 34th Street. The theater's probably not even there anymore. And my parents came with me because it was like, oh my God, my son's in Rocky IV. And, so the part that when I come up on the screen, it was really a tight shot. And I was sitting next to my dad.
Incredible moment.
I remember.
It was a wild moment.
Audio like this,
and he just stood up. If you could just picture a grown man, he had a suit and tie because it was like an event.
So
He stood
proud,
up
right?
and pointed at the screen and went, "That's my son."
Wow.
Wow, Dad, sit down. Sit down. Yeah. But it was
Why not?
Hey,
Those
listen.
are the things that you never forget.
That's his whole life wrapped up in a ball.
Exactly.
And his moment of time right there. You
Yeah.
know, to see his son. You
So
know,
proud.
Yeah.
And you know, that one moment, and I've had others where we talking about big people. He was mentioning James Gandolfini. I did a show, and Lionel Richie was my guest on my syndicated show. And after the show was finished taping, he was just hanging out. He didn't want. It was clearly he didn't want to leave, and we started talking music. And we went into the kitchen in the studio. He stood there for another hour and a half, 2 hours, just talking about who he likes to listen to. Most people at a certain level just get in the car and they go. For me, it's been the real big people that I've been fortunate. Tina Turner came in the studio when I was on, and she said, "I just wanted to say hi. Thank you for playing my music." And, you know, usually when they come in, boom, they walk right by and they're gone.
But as a compliment to you, you must have said something, maybe your mannerisms, that I think you probably had a lot to do with it. Maybe the way you conducted yourself with them or on the radio, whatever.
I just always felt that if you're at a certain level and I can learn from you, all you just have to do is just be nice to someone.
That's
and
what I
maybe ask
mean.
them
Yeah, you have
questions
to.
and for other things that you have a shot with this person in the room with you. Why would you not ask some questions that maybe they asked at some point in their career? I mean, that's a shot. Walking on the set and all these stories that when we do this Q&A with me is.
Now, do you have a setup? Do you have a line of stories ready to go?
I've got, yeah.
I mean, because to be prepared.
I've got them from off the top of my head. Obviously, Sly.
Yeah.
For you, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Talia Shire.
I'm all screwed up.
I know. Talia Shire, and of course, Burt Young, who just passed away.
All right.
But of going to his house, walking in, and smelling the sauce cooking. Just, come on, let's sit down and have a little plate of pasta. But I'll tell you the rest of that story. George Michael, Lionel Richie.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're gonna need. We do this promo, and
Yeah.
and I think we'll get the point across with it, and sharing it from you, sharing it from people we know. I think it'll be an automatic hit, and I see something there. We've been so overwhelmed with things. Just the stuff I mentioned.
Well, it's a great way to start the new year.
Yeah.
Laura Branigan, back in her day.
Yeah.
One of the best voices
Yeah.
in contemporary music. She passed on too. We miss her talent.
Yeah,
But, people like that, and then
I remember listening to her, and then also Sarah Brightman. They were all
Yeah.
like they were
Yeah.
famous in Europe and in Italy especially. It just Laura sang Gloria, and all my
Yeah.
life I thought that was her song. It was really Umberto Tozzi's song, and
right.
that she changed.
and then Laura made it a hit here, but it was already a hit in Italy.
See, but it was
What
a hit.
about Prince?
Oh, Prince, yeah, story. Well, I can't tell you that
Let's
story,
tell me,
but
you
I have
got a
another
great
great
one?
story about Prince.
He's a
The
legend.
same night with Prince and the Miami Sound Machine was doing a concert with Gloria, of course, up front. And something happened backstage between her and Donna Summer that I will keep that story for that night.
We're going to make a nice promo. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I think the promo is going to look amazing.
So the audience will never knew what was going on, and then Prince. The story. What I will tell you is that
I already see the promo in my head as an editor. I already
Prince
see
saved
it.
that night because of what happened between Donna Summer and.
He had
Gloria
he had
Estefan.
power, that dude. Let me
He
tell
had
you.
a lot of power, but he didn't have. Here you go, somebody that big,
Humble.
did not have to do what he did to save that night, and he literally saved that night for our station.
Purple rain.
Yeah.
Well,
He was badass.
let's stay tuned to the Wiseguyz Facebook group page for announcements on that. We are going to announce it after the 18th of our show,
Yep.
and then we'll work on a promo. We'll have it ready for it's the December, probably best time for the holidays, and bringing it into February, and we'll work some out in
We'll work
Lenise,
it out.
and
We'll have a lot of fun.
And but before we go, I want to thank Al Bandiero,
Thank you.
legendary
Thank you.
disc jockey, actor, also,
Thank you.
and the godfather of the Wise Guys, Artie Soprano. You're coming
Arturo.
November 18th, right?
Yes,
we got
yes,
something special
yes,
going
yes.
over.
Elaine,
Do you
we
know
want
yet if
Elaine.
you're coming?
We're hoping. We're trying to put all our ducks in a row.
You're gonna
to make
miss
down
it if
there.
you don't. You're gonna
I
wish
know,
you came.
I know.
We were there yesterday.
big
I don't know
night.
if
Big night.
and they literally, we didn't know what they were setting up. They weren't setting up nothing. We were just gonna have the stage and everything. They literally had all their Christmas decorations up, and they said to us while we were there, they're like, "You want these all up before your show?" We were like,
Absolutely.
What, are you kidding me?
Sure,
Like, what?
sure.
So, and you got to see these Christmas decorations. They're just amazing. And,
It's gonna be nonstop
Yeah.
from the moment we start till we close.
Yep. And
So it is going to be where?
Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City
Okay.
in the Superstar Theater, where the likes of Sinatra performed, and just so many.
We were
different,
standing on the stage with our feet platform right where he was at.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
we-
Tony Bennett.
We're gonna have a packed house. I don't know how packed, but packed enough. Trust me.
Well, that was the original casino down there. That was the original hotel,
First
the resort.
First place to gamble.
Merv Griffin.
Was resorts?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
They got the very first slot machine on display as you walk in from in the boardwalk side, so it's a beautiful casino. They fix it up. It's just amazing. I love it, and I actually do well playing there. So I just think the action is there.
Well, you guys will do great.
Yeah,
You
it's
guys
we're
will do
gonna.
great.
I really want people to come. It's not. I just don't want you to come to a show. I just want you to see what we're going to display,
Right.
and then we have the future there. It's in our hands. We could do anything we want there. How about doing a Q&A with Al Bandera on the stage at Resorts? If we could get it big enough, you get Sly. I mean, we'll sell out.
He
Listen,
said it right. He said it right.
we
Said it right, Sly. That's
we-
right.
We got no. I don't know. I thought this was something I was.
Slide me to the moon.
Yeah.
But I do want to let everybody know this is why we're doing it. This is why we want all the Wise Guys friends and family and everybody to be there.
Uno, due, tre, hot soap.
But I do want everybody to know we have something special there, and they're great people at Resorts, and we can make.
We're
some
not
good
letting
things.
everything out either. You got to be there to see what's going to happen.
But before we go, I want to thank a few people real quick. Our sponsors: Rockabella Gives, Ariana's Angels, Sterling Security, all the logos you see coming up. Moment of Silence, Blue Magazine, We World Energy, Bubblegum Gangster, Troy Anello Cigars, Queen Margarita, Aroma di Napoli, Paisan Khan, Celebrity Boxing, Jersey Pizza Joints will be in the house. Obviously, Biagio
This
and
is
the Wise Guy
everybody that believed in us like we believed in
They're
them
all gonna be
through
there.
the whole journey.
All gonna
Are
be
going to
there.
all be there.
Listen, we're associated with a lot of big time groups. The Best Scholars is going to be there. The Best Scholars is an organization that brings underprivileged kids into school and to become college students and get their diploma and it's an amazing organization where all celebrities like friends like your friends Larry Holmes are there every year signing for free. It's just so many
people give back.
The Firefighters Charitable Foundation in Long Island, the Ariana's Angels, Moment of Silence, where it's law enforcement. They help emergency workers, law enforcement deal with the likes of suicide. And this is all groups that we're associated with that sponsored us for this event because they believe in us and we believe in them, and they're all going to be there that night. It's a special night for everybody, and even Celebrity Boxing. People hear Celebrity Boxing, they're like, they watch the fights. They don't understand that the purpose of Celebrity Boxing is to get these kids out of the streets. Yeah. They may have been a celebrity at one time, or they may not have been a celebrity, and they get them into feeling like they are a celebrity and giving them something in life.
Damon Feldman is going to come. And
he's
gonna,
hosting the
after celebration.
Yes, so. But,
out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum.
So that's what this is all
about. The best is yet to come.
That's what it's all about. So I hope you guys. I know you're coming.
That's great.
And
that's great.
It's going to be something special.
This is
I
a
promise.
wow factor. It's a wow factor.
I want to thank you guys for coming.
Well, thank you for having
On behalf
us.
of the Wise Guy Show, Joey Cat wasn't here. Charlie
Zeppi Gatto.
wasn't here. Biagio wasn't here, but they're all
Charlie,
here. in
feel
spirit.
better, Chaloots.
That's right. So we'll see you November
Anthony
18th
Scala.
at Resorts Casino Hotel. Go
Be
to
there.
WGStickets.com for tickets. They're selling out. Go now.
It's an offer you can't refuse.
Thank you so much.
WGS Entertainment presents Saturday, November 18th at Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The Wise Guys' first ever variety show, starring Louis Prima Jr. and the Witnesses.
The way you move, it makes me holler. The way you jump, the way you swing. Come on and dance. dance with me.
Legendary comedian Bob Nelson.
Let's go. Come on.
World-renowned magician Rocco Solano.
I said if you wanna fly, let's fly.
With special appearances by Italian singing sensation Biagio. And legendary Jersey Shore DJ Joe D. All hosted by The Wiseguyz Show. Tickets are going fast and are sure to sell out, so scan the QR code on your screen or visit WGStickets.com.
Hey, Mr. Santa, how's it looking? That 32 waistline, you better get cooking. We need a big Santa. It's almost Christmas time. First up, we gotta get to Chicago. The secret to the pizza there is in the dough. Italian beef with giardiniera, hot and sweet. Papa sausage down on Maxwell Street. Windy City popcorn, caramel and cheese. Adds a couple notches to his belt with these. We gotta get some gumbo in N.O.L.A. Santa needs a butter crawfish etouffee. Andouille and jambalaya, Santa don't stop. A fried oyster bobo and a nice lanyard. Fill him up with beignets and a box of Pauline's. We'll get his red breeches busting at the seams. Hey, Mr. Santa, how's it looking? That 42 waistline, you better get cooking. We need a big Santa. It's almost Christmas time. Never thought I'd see a skinny old Saint Nick. It's mid-December, Santa better bulk up quick. Heat up every donut shop, 100 dozen. That's enough to keep the big man running. I said, hey, Mr. Santa, how's it looking? That 52 waistline, you better get cooking. We need a big Santa. It's almost Christmas time.
I'll catch up with you one of these days, wise guy, and when I do, pow!